Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I'm bringing you my first impressions, my first thoughts and opinions on the Hawkeye Disney Plus TV show update. And while at first glance this may seem like a small update, it's actually chock full of content, including some unexpected bugs. So let's jump right into it with the uniform opinions and options for Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Maya Lopez. So we got 3 new speed heroes. I think all 3 of these uniforms are going to be very good long-term for these characters because they just make massive upgrades to all 3 of them. They all give them all healing. They give them all PvE and PvP presence with different effects like penetration, frenzy, accumulation, things like that. For Hawkeye particularly, it's quite good, and like Captain America Falcon, you see, and it's actually his first uniform option, you see the ramp on the damage when you pop the tier 3. I already tier 3'd him, so for those of you hoping to see a tier 2 video for Hawkeye, I wasn't really impressed with him at tier 2. I do think the tier 3 does add a lot. It does add a lot for his stats as well. You can see I'm rocking with pretty straightforward Uru and not much else to speak about. I'm rocking 45,000 physical attack, which is quite good for speed types. It's not quite as high as it goes for your like Spider-Man types, I believe, but it's still quite high. And I do think that you see the pop off when final shot happens. My one piece of advice for you gameplay wise, if you're not seeing the damage you want to see from your tier 3 Hawkeye, is do not cancel the tier 3 early. He has a lot of different animations during the tier 3 where he sort of like goes upside down and does all these cool trick shots. It's so cool. I'll show you guys the animation here real quick. And so you don't want to cancel the tier 3 at all. It's sort of like that, but there's just a lot more hits involved. So yeah, don't cancel the tier 3 at all, at least in my initial testing, and I think you'll see some really nice numbers. As far as the uniform options for Hawkeye, we've got Captain America Sam Wilson, which is excellent. We've got Human Torch Classic, which is also excellent. That's his newest uniform. We have Icarus, which is okay. We have Storm, which is not so good. Oh, sorry. We have Scarlet Witch from WandaVision, which is also excellent. She's probably going to be getting something in a few months for Multiverse of Madness, but still, this is technically her best uniform so far. And then this is the only real disappointment here because this is Storm's second best uniform, and this is from a few years ago now, from 2019, I believe. So yeah, 4 excellent options and then 1 sort of bad one for Clint Barton. As for Kate Bishop, again, I think she's going to be fantastic for PvE and PvP. Speed types are, in general, going to have a harder time in PvE because they're going to immediately be compared to Spider-Man, and then they're going to be immediately compared to Captain America Falcon and Makari and Luna Snow. So like the top of the speed meta is very top heavy, and then especially for PvP, you do have Spider-Man still reigning there. But honestly, I do think that all 3 of these characters, and Kate Bishop is no different, are going to give them a run for their money. She has really nice burst damage, and she has 2 or 3 cancelable skills. Very smooth rotation. The other thing that's really nice about all 3 of these characters, they're all proc friendly. Maya Lopez is probably the least proc friendly, but even with Maya, you can make it work with a nice rotation to cancel into her most damaging skills and get all those buffs. As far as the uniform options for Kate, we have Daredevil, newest one, Sentinel, newest one, but still kind of old, from 2020, I believe, or 2019. No, 2020. We have Vision from WandaVision, which is great. We have Cyclops from Apocalypse, which is bad. It's from like 5 years ago. It's 2017, man, 4.5 years ago. And then we have Ebony Maw's newest one. So this one a little bit worse than Clint's, but still very good. You have 3 excellent uniforms, 1 okay paywall, and then 1 just puzzler question mark. I don't know if this actually sells for gold now. That would be the only plus side, but if it doesn't sell for gold, yikes. Having to pick up that Cyclops one hurts. Thankfully, it's the legendary option for Kate, so it's not as necessary. Really, the second, third, and 5th options are the most important for those attack and defense stats. But yeah, Kate Bishop also really good. I think they both got excellent reworks. I'm very, very happy with both of them. They were both like sub 50 seconds on stage 9 of Null with no supports and just their own leaderships and no obelisks. So I do think that they're going to hold up quite well in a comparison to the speed metas like Makari and Spider-Man and stuff, which is nice to see. And then for Maya Lopez, man, she may be a step behind Kate and Clint for PvE. She's a little bit slower. It took her about 1 minute and 10 seconds to do stage 9, so it's about 20 seconds slower, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. But her leadership is insane. You know, they didn't change the icon, but man, 60% attack and defense is just bananas. So if you look at her stats, when you have her leadership in play, okay? And it's a PvE PvP leadership. So it has this insane, absolutely insane dual value. We're looking at stats north of, look at this, 50, 59, 555. So 60,000 physical attack, 32,000 physical attack, 30,000 energy defense, or sorry, physical defense, energy defense. Her defenses being in the 30,000s is disgusting. It's super high. For a comparison here, look at Thanos. She has higher defense than Thanos, guys. That's crazy. Now, obviously, when you proc Thanos' leadership, he will get the 25% all attack, all defense. That will then push his defenses higher than hers. But you have to get debuffed for that to happen. Whereas she just has that on by default, which is absolutely crazy. And then she also has the support type buffs to decrease the damage that you receive from chain hit, which is super clutch. And then also the ignore dodge. Like, so yeah, although Maya is a step behind for PvE, as a main damage dealer, she's an amazing support slash amazing lead slash okay support. I wouldn't get her uniform as the support because the support is mostly for PvP. Although the 20% ignore dodge is not bad, it's not really worth it. I would definitely consider getting her uniform for a leadership. Like, she makes Requiem's leadership look bad, and that was just introduced last month as the best speed leadership in the game. So we now have a new contender. She might actually have the best leadership in the game, period. Yeah, it's that good. And then her uniform options are, well, let's take a look. We got Hyperion here, not bad. We got Black Bolt, not bad, just a little bit aging now. Jean Grey's old uniform, this one's kind of rough. Dr. Octopus is okay, and then Human Torch Future Foundation. So yeah, she probably has the worst, no, she definitely has the worst uniform options of the three, and these ones are definitely either more niche characters or old uniforms that you just wouldn't use anymore. Like, you have old uniforms for Human Torch and Jean Grey, that hurts. Basically, the only ones that are even near meta at this point are Black Bolt and Hyperion, and they're not even really meta. So yeah, this one is more of a labor of love if you want to make it work for Maya Lopez for Echo. But yeah, I'm still happy with the uniform, and I do think she's going to make some mad noise in either PvE or PvP or possibly both. So I'm really, really happy with these upgrades. We don't see any lackluster characters, any lackluster skills. Probably the only criticism I have of these characters, if I had to really nitpick, I'll nitpick one for each. Kate Bishop does seem a little bit slow when she's moving around. Again, I'm being quite critical here, so you know, don't take this as like a big slag on these characters, but she does seem a little bit slower than other characters on her feet. For Maya, she doesn't have any cancelable skills. Like, I mean, you still can cancel her skills, but in terms of the animations, she doesn't have any cancelable animations besides her 6th skill and her 2nd skill. Now, her 2nd skill is pretty cool that you want to cancel it because of all those like shadow, sort of like shadow clones that come out. But otherwise, you can't cancel 5, you can't cancel 4, you can cancel 6. So you could ideally do like a 6, 2, 3, 5, 4 combo. And you do rack up a decent amount of hits there, but yeah, seeing just barely over 100 hits until the very end does make people a bit worried. She does hit pretty hard, even though she has few hits. And then for Clint, the one issue I have with him is the targeting. He does have some issues on his targeting, and sometimes his 4th skill can get canceled, or sometimes if you're too far away from the enemy during the 4th skill, you can't cancel out of it. So there's sort of like cancellation issues both ways in terms of your skill getting canceled. This is going to happen especially against someone like Proxima, who moves around a lot. Like, just right there on that jump where he jumps back as Ronin, that jump back can easily make you lose targeting on the enemy, especially in the case of Proxima, who moves around. So yeah, those would probably be the only criticisms I have of their uniforms right now. We'll have to see ultimately how they match up and compare to, like I said, Spider-Man, Makari, Luna Snow, and Captain America Falcon, and maybe a couple of other speed types that I might be missing. But for now, my first impressions are good. My first impressions are very good, at least like a solid A tier. Maybe not game-breaking, but definitely going to have a place on your roster. And then as far as the new content, we get a double whammy of the story mode autoplay, which I think is very, very good. And I'll show you guys a couple of stages here in a minute, but I do think it's very excellent. However, I will say this about the story mode auto: it's not perfect. And I don't expect it to be perfect, but I just want to set your expectations, expectations, because I do see some people complaining about it already. And while their complaints are well-founded, you know, for example, during the 3rd mission, I had to switch because the AI had Spider-Man in the lead. So Spider-Man was auto-playing. Spider-Man only has one skill with this uniform that deals elemental damage. He's not going to be able to clear the stage in time, right? It's just not going to happen. And then as far as Thor and Betsy, I had to just switch to one of them. So I had to do that manually because the AI doesn't know to switch characters. It doesn't switch characters. And then for the Thanos stage on 13.3, notoriously the most difficult stage of all of the story mode stages. So unsurprisingly, people are going to have difficulties here. But the AI doesn't move around or dodge when Thanos does some of his purple attacks. He doesn't do as many as before. There's no like giant suck phase at the end where it like tries to pull you into the middle and he snaps. So that phase is gone, but he still has the meteor phase, which you have to run around and dodge the meteors. And he can still do that purple X attack where he jumps up and slams, and that will basically one-shot the vast majority of characters. So in that situation, I did have to switch characters myself and move them around manually with the joystick and sort of do a little bit of manual play. But I would say you should be able to, unless your builds are really bad or sort of incomplete, you should be able to autoplay a good 90 to 95% of this now, whereas before it was 0. So I think that big of an upgrade is excellent. Do I think they could make some tweaks to it? Do I think they need to be more careful with not including these characters that don't really have elemental skills like Black Widow, Spider-Man, etc.? Yeah, I do think they need to do that, or they need to just make sure that the AI doesn't put them in the lead, right? That's really the issue here, is that they're putting these characters in the lead. And I'll show you what it looks like here. We're going to autoplay this one, and we're going to auto use the designated characters. You have to check that off, otherwise it doesn't work. And I'm going to hit start, and it's going to go in here. We're not using the power saver mode, so for those of you that want to see that, that'll be for a different video. But here you can see that they're going to put Spider-Man in the lead. So there's actually not a timer. I said he's going to run out of time. He's not going to run out of time, but this is literally going to take you like 20 minutes. Like, there's no joke here. You might run out of battery before Spider-Man is done, because he only has one skill. Look at this. He's gone through every skill besides 2. And actually, you know what? If the AI doesn't do the second skill, he'll never get this done. Never mind. 20 minutes? I was being way too generous. This is going to take 20 hours. Can you even see the HP disappearing on the enemies? I don't even see the bar moving, because he's doing 1 damage per hit. Now he's going to pop the tier 3 after the 5. So obviously you can see that this is a problem here. And it would be nice if they could just fix that by having either Thor in the lead or Betsy in the lead. Because as you can see, you switch to any other character now that has actual elemental damage, and they start dropping like flies. So yeah, that's kind of an issue. We'll let this autoplay, play out for this full mission. But otherwise, besides these couple of quirks, I think this is a fantastic change. And I'm absolutely going to be running story mode. And I know that my resources, especially my tier 3 resources, are going to skyrocket, because I've been skipping story mode for the past like 5 months. Like, I think the last time I played it honestly was either just October or November, and so my tier 3 resources have kind of started to deplete because I haven't been spending that much money on the game. It's going to save me money, to be honest. I'm not going to have to buy relay packs for tier 3 materials, because now I can replay these now and auto them and then open those fragment chests. But yeah, it's sort of like the uniforms, where it's 90-95% really good with just 1 or 2 small minor nitpicky errors that otherwise can be mitigated by you just manually playing, or just taking a look at the stages in particular that you're going to have an issue with this. So for this month, I'm going to have an issue with that Spider-Man stage, and I'm going to have to just remind myself in mental note to switch to Betsy or Thor. And then for the Thanos stage, I'm always basically going to have to manually control my character. There is also a MODOK stage. I can't remember which stage it is, but there's a MODOK stage somewhere here in chapter... I can't remember which chapter it's in, maybe 2 or 3, where he uses that pink orb and it chases you around, and you basically have to put the orb between you and MODOK, and then the orb will hit MODOK when he has the pink shield, and it will stun him, and it will also lower his shield. And with his shield up, he has like 99% damage reduction. The AI doesn't know how to do that. So the AI will stand there or attack and get stunned, and you'll basically fail the mission or die or run out of time or whatever the case may be. So yeah, so for the MODOK mission, the Thanos mission, you absolutely have to do a little bit of manual play. And then for the Spider-Man mission or any other missions that are going to feature elemental characters like Loki, Black Widow, etc., you'd have to switch to another character and then let the autoplay run. And then for the other features that we have, the one that I want to talk about a little bit more in depth at the moment here is the S.H.I.E.L.D archive. I think this is a really cool piece of content, and I do think I'm going to be exploring it more than I already have. However, again, one minor issue. mostly very cool. Tons of Easter eggs and things like that, and tons of lore. I absolutely love it, right? And there's some pretty good rewards, like 200 Titan component packs here. You've got 200 EOD. You've got what is this? The Luna Snow theme. 200 Awakening crystals. Like, there's some good stuff here. But my issue, there's actually even Titan records, and there's also like Kang stuff. It's really cool. My issue is that some of the items that they want you to combine include, like, that's fine. That's like random mythic cards and then boost ISO, right? That's okay. But some of these, it's like Odin's Blessings. I don't know, dude. I don't think I want to do that. And some of them is like, okay, the ISO is not that bad. CTPs? No way, man. I don't know. I don't know who this is for, but that's crazy. I mean, I guess you could make the argument, if you're not a very competitive player, if you don't want to reforge CTPs, but you have a bunch of extras, I guess, right? I don't know, but I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it if you have all of the other items and this is the last one. And maybe it's worth it if you can farm this, like, again, and like, I don't know, does it reset when you get to 100% or does it just stay there? Is it a one-time thing? I don't know, but most players are not going to trade a CTP of Greed for 200 Mandalays and a combat book. You wouldn't have to trade for both. You'd only have to trade for the combat book or whatever. Or it wouldn't even be that. It would be like the instinct attack. I don't know. I'm a little bit iffy right now. I know they're giving us a CTP for free every month and Odin's Blessings and stuff like that. But I'm still a little bit iffy about this. I would say for the majority of players, probably don't engage with the ones that are really expensive. Like this one, it's 3 of these Odin's Blessings, and you need 4 of those blades, right? The Necro Sword. Thankfully, you can also get the Necro Sword to drop. So you gotta be a little bit careful. You gotta pay attention. This one can also drop from World Boss Black Dwarf. Now, I don't know why it drops from Black Dwarf and not World Boss Legend Null. That doesn't make any sense to me, but you can farm that without having to do this, right? So for some of them, you can avoid it. For others, it's the only way of doing of getting the item is to combine premium items here. Like, for example, the Eye of Agamotto. Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical about this part of it, but again, you can engage with, I would say, 80 to 90% of this Shield archive completely for free by just playing the regular content in the game. And the cool thing is you can target farm. So if you want to get Mjolnir, how do you get it? From this story mode. If you want to get something else, like the time thing here, it's particular dispatch missions. So I really like this fact. And so if you want to get particular resources, you can go ahead and do that in specific ways. This one, you're gonna have to wait for the Dimension Rift day to rotate around. But in this sense, I really like this piece of content, and it does provide some permanent resources, like the permanent upgrade to your instinct crit rate, instinct defense, instinct dodge, and attack. And these are small upgrades, but maybe the totality of the upgrades, when you calculate all of the Shield archive updates, would maybe be like equipping half of a new card. Like, it's not going to be as big as a full card. It's not even going to be as big as a fully crafted card, of course, but maybe like a non-crafted card with just half the stats. Maybe that's how good it's going to be, but hey, that's not bad. And it's not something that you want to do in one day. Obviously, this is something they're going to be farming long-term over the next months, years. And the cool thing is they can add more to this, right? And there's lots of different ones that you can do. You can also set them as favorites if you want to focus on some of them. So I really like the UI. I really like all of this. I'm just pretty skeptical about the premium cost. Last but not least, there's a bunch of bugs. So I just want to get to the bugs so that players know that they're not alone. A lot of players have been experiencing issues with emulators, which I can't really speak on, but there is a post that has been updated as of 6 a.m. About 2 hours after the update went live, with a bunch of known issues. So there's a bunch of issues that they already know about with crafting and ISO 8 Awakening Relay and things like that don't work. So if you're having these types of problems, I would say go to this post and read through it to see if your issue is there, to see if the issue has been resolved or if they have a fix for it. There's also fixes for like being unable to play, having the bosses like being gigantic, which is hilarious, but also not what they wanted, obviously. And so some of these issues are pretty complicated and require like multi-step solutions, well, possible temporary solutions like deleting the game cache files. It's cached with a CHE, not with an SH. But yeah, again, if you're experiencing these problems, I would say go through this. It's good that they've already recognized these many problems. Hopefully they'll get to them quickly, because I know that some of the bugs have been kind of game breaking for players where they can't even do their dailies, which is pretty rough. So hopefully they get that fixed ASAP. But yeah, know that you're not alone in that, and that know that the devs have already acknowledged it, which is good. But yeah, otherwise I would say, besides the bugs, none of which I've personally experienced, thankfully, I think this update is a banger, and I think it's going to continue to be a banger as more and more people get on the story mode fragment farming train and get all those crazy rewards. And then as we get more and more information about these 3 speed cats. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll hit you guys up with new videos and a new stream today for that as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.